Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello. If you guys can hear me, please let me know in the chat. Hey Puneet, I'm not sure if people are joining or if we have to cancel this session. Let's wait for 5 minutes. Puneet, how is my audio? Is it good? Hey Nishit. Hey Sumit. Is it just you three? Okay, we have some more people coming in. Hi Vineet. Hi Nishit. Hi Dheeraj. So let's wait for 5 minutes and then we'll get started. Meanwhile, what you guys can do is open this particular link. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure whether my audio is fine or not. Hello. Are you guys there? Oh, awesome. Okay. Anand is saying companies are going to begin in bits. That's why maybe a lot of people aren't able to make out. Yes, Anand, that's right. Could be, but I think there are a lot of people who joined not from bits but from LinkedIn. So those people should have been there, but it's fine. It is what it is. Hi, Sneha, Puneet, Anand. Okay, should we wait or should we just continue? Meanwhile, can you guys open this particular link at the in the summary section of this video? You have this My Binder link. Just open that up, and we'll get started from there. Hi, Jatin. Hi, Saloni. When it hits 6:05, that's when we'll get started. I think we have 11 people and should be enough. Let me know if there is any issue with my audio or video. I'm streaming from a different room today, so that could be a problem. Hi, Richa. Okay, so the count is increasing. We have more people who are joining. Guys, open this MyBinder link, please. Whoever is there in the session, just click on this MyBinder link and it will open up here. It's taking a bit more time than usual. Oh, it says that also here. Okay. Check the log messages below to see what's happening. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll start it again. Hi, Chetan. So last time what we did was we had reviewed few things. Let me open this locally so that we can just get started. We don't have to wait for binder. Did this binder link open for anyone else? Can someone confirm this? If this link is opening or not? I think we are having some issues with binder for some reason. And it's not just today, even yesterday when I was trying it, it was not working. Okay, so Neil Saloni, you have opened it. Okay, cool. Empty log, notebook log loading. Maybe there's no ad block as far as I know here. Okay, it's just me. Is there anyone else in this chat who has not been able to open my binder? Because if it's opening for everyone else, what I can do is I can open it locally on my laptop. Right? We can do that. So let me know in chat if someone is not able to open this link. And we'll try to figure out another way of doing this. Even Jupyter is giving me some issue locally. Just give it some time, guys. One of these two should open. Yeah, this one is opening. No, not here, not here, not here. Come on. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with my laptop today. So sorry for the delay, guys. I think there's some issue on my end. Is anything else opening? I think there's something wrong with Firefox. Let me reopen this. Sorry for the delay, guys. I think it's there's something wrong with my laptop. Okay, let's do one thing meanwhile while Firefox opens up. I have shared a database with you. So this is the database. So when you're working with any, so when you're working in any company, right, you'll have uh, tons and tons of tables, and each of these tables will have a lot of data stored in it. So if I talk about, let's say, Flipkart, you will have a data set of customers, you'll have a data set of transactions, you'll have a data set of employees, a data set of products listed on the website, a data set of sellers who are there with Flipkart, a data set of let's say profit and loss statement and all those kind of things, right? And you'll have a data set of delivery person. So this is kind of an example of any e-commerce business. Similar to this, if I talk about any banks, even in banks, a lot of things will be common. So you'll have a data set of customers, of transactions, of credit cards or debit cards that the customers are owning, of let's say other different products. You'll have loan, you'll have credit line increase, and those kind of things, right? And you'll have data set of customers around their transaction behavior, their demographics, all the sorts of things, right? So essentially you'll have a lot of data sets, and in one way or another they will be connected to each other. So if I talk about the data set that I have shared with you, you'll have one order table, right, which is currently at order ID and order type level. So this is the primary key. These two columns together are the primary key of this table. So essentially, if you take any combination of order ID and order type, you will always get one single row, right? There won't be any duplicates at order ID, order type level. I don't even know if you guys can hear me also. Okay. I hope it's working. Okay. So can you guys let me know in chat? I'll just open it up on my phone so that I know you guys are getting the video at least, and the audio also. I'm not sure what exactly happened with Firefox just now. Just give me a second. I'm just loading it up on my phone. Okay, cool. I think you guys can hear me. Awesome. So yeah, let's go back. So this is the database that I shared with you. You have order ID and order type, which are the primary key, and then you have a bunch of foreign keys. We discussed about foreign keys last time, that these are the columns on which the data is not unique, but these are the columns with which you will join with some other table, and in those tables these might be the primary key. So if I talk about customer id is the foreign key in order dimension table, but it is a primary key in customer dimension table, right? Similarly, product id is a foreign key in the order dimension table, but product id is a foreign key in product dimension, right? I think this should connect here, right? So yeah, and then you have delivery person id, which is a foreign key here, but in delivery person dimension it is the primary key, right? And similarly you have delivery code also. And I think code appears in a lot of places. It appears in order dimension, it appears in delivery person, it appears in customer dimension also. But main table where where pin code is a primary key is the pin code dimension table. Now, if I talk about what kind of information it has, I think it's kind of clear, but let me just quickly give an overview of that. So you have a customer dimension table, which talks about just the customer. So customer's first name, last name, email, phone, primary pin code, as in like the main address that they have, what is the pin code of that. We have gender, we have date of birth, we have the joining date also. So joining date is the acquisition date of the customer. Then you have pin code dimension table. Let me just show you the data also, right? So this is how this data is structured. You have customer ID, right? You have first name, last name, you have the email, you have the phone number, you have the primary pin code, and these are all randomly generated values. So yeah, don't try to email any one of these people. You won't get any response. You might get, but yeah, don't try to email them. You have gender of the person, you have date of birth, and you have the joining date. And this date of birth and joining date is currently in a string format. It is not in a date format. So when you load this data in pandas, you'll have to be careful that it is not loaded as a date. It is instead loaded as a string. So when you try to run things like month function or year function, it won't work out. Then we have product dimension table, which has product ID, we have product name, we have brand, category, category has mouse, laptop, and pen drive, and we have procurement cost per unit. So for every unit of, let's say, HP mouse that we are buying, the company is paying 650 rupees. So this is the cost price of this product, and the MRP is obviously kind of higher than this procurement cost, and it is in this particular column, right? If I come to product pin code dimension, it has pin code, it has city, and it has state. Pretty simple. In delivery person dimension, we have the delivery person's ID, we have name, we have joining date, and we have the pin code also. The pin code would be the area wherein they are currently operating. Now, one thing that you have to be cognizant about is that this is just the sample data. If I talk about Flipkart, we won't have only, let's say, 9 columns. We'll have around 90 columns if I were to be conservative even. So for a customer, we track a lot of information. Like every company tracks a lot of information, and the same goes for product pin code and all other tables that we have, right? So these are just the sample columns that I have created just so that we can write some queries on top of it, right? If I come to order dimension, it looks like this. So you have order ID, right? And for every order ID, we have two kinds of order types. So one would be a buy order. So if someone buys a particular product, there will be one line which will get created, and if that person returns the order, then there will be one more row for that return also. So if I show you one example, if I search return, right? So this 29th order ID, it was first bought, right? It was bought on 8th, it was delivered on 12th, then a return request was raised on 15th, and the return was completed on 24th, right? And this was the amount which the customer paid, and this is the, oh crap. So I think you saw that, right? So 4,400 was the amount, I think. Let me just go back there again. Okay, Firefox is still not open. Let me just try to see if we can do something about this. Yeah, so we have two rows for every order ID depending on whether it's a buy order or it is a return order, right? Okay. And then we have other things, things like order date, delivery date, total number of units bought for that particular product. We have displayed selling price. So whatever is the selling price on the website, this is that. This is for 1 unit. Okay. Then this is the total amount paid. So someone buying 2 units, they will pay some amount, right? But they might also get some discount. So if I can you think of what kind of discounts you guys can get on a website, and let me know in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll try to just open Firefox. I'll give it one more try. And hopefully it will open. So yeah, so the question is total amount paid would be, okay, I did not talk about this. So if I talk about, let's say, displayed price multiplied by total units bought, right? So that amount would have been 147,000, but actually the customer has paid just 138,000. So what could be the reasons that this difference could be there? That's the question I'm asking you. So let me know in chat while Firefox has opened. Awesome. Let me first try to open localhost. Yeah, so Saloni, can you talk about what kind of discounts are there on the websites? Maybe a coupon code applied. That's right. That's one. What else? Offer discount, loyalty discount. Yeah, those are the terms I was looking for. So you will have bank discounts, you'll have some kind of offers running, you'll have buy one get one free, you'll have some kind of loyalty discounts. Let's say in Flipkart we have coins with which you can buy a lot of things, right? So those kind of discounts will feature into your final amount paid, and hence the final amount paid will be lesser than the multiplication of total units and displayed selling price, right? And then we have a column for product ID, which directly links with this product dimension table, right? We'll have product type, whether it is cash, net banking, debit, or I think cash on delivery also is okay. The cash is there, cash, credit, debit, and then net banking is also there. And then delivery pin code will be the place where a certain product was delivered. Right? Clear? Any questions? Let me know and we'll get started with the assignment. Okay. So first of all, you might need to run these 3 codes to ensure that the modules that we are using in this particular file are actually present. I think when I was running in MyBinder, these 3 modules were not installed. So just install them if you're running on MyBinder right now. If you're running on Jupyter, I don't think you will have to install this. Okay, so I don't want to sound like a teacher, but how many of you actually attempted the assignment? And it's fine if you're not able to solve it. I'm just interested in people who actually like put effort and went to solve the assignment. So can you just say in the chat like how many of you actually attempted the assignment? Nishit did. Nice. Okay, Puneet completed before join. Saloni did. That's nice. Anyone else? Okay, so Sumit also did. Okay, that's nice. So guys, here's the thing. Creating this assignment is not kind of an easy task, right? There are some 20 questions. Just barely, even if I know the questions, just barely creating this Excel, this file takes a lot of time, and then writing the answers and ensuring that they are correct and getting them verified by a lot of people, which helped me out also. Thanks for that. So all of that takes a lot of time. So if I talk about this particular assignment, it took me around 1.5 days to put together, and I was not working on anything else apart from this. So yeah, if you are interested in analytics as a career, I would highly recommend that you take some time out and attempt these assignments, because I design them in such a way that they kind of reflect the kind of questions which get asked in the interviews. So if you are able to solve these questions, I can guarantee you that you will be able to crack at least a SQL interview. May not be other interviews which are done, like let's say case studies and all, but SQL definitely you will be able to do, and I can guarantee that, right? So please spend some time in doing this assignment. It will keep me motivated in creating them, and it will also help you. So helping you is more important than keeping myself motivated, because I can do that. Okay, anyway, for the people who actually did these assignment, thanks. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's get started. First, what we'll do is we'll import this data set, import these modules, sorry. And yeah, let's have a look at the schema once more. So customer dimension table joins with order dimension on customer ID. Pin code joins with two tables, one being order ID, one being delivery. And I think it joins with customer dimension, but the column name is different. So in customer dim, you have primary pin code. In all other tables, you just have, okay. So even in order dimension, you have delivery pin code column, right? So in pin code dimension and delivery person dimension, you have pin code as the column name, but in others, the column name is slightly different. So yeah, be cognizant of that. Product dimension also links with order dimension tables, and so does delivery person dimension, right? So this is the kind of schema that we have. Now we'll work on the joins. Okay. And let's run all of these together. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to read this Excel file from my GitHub. So I had put this GitHub file, put this Excel file on my GitHub, and I'm just trying to read it from there. So we can quickly run all of these together, and you guys should also do the same if you are running on, what is it? If you're running on MyBinder. Done. Let me know when you're done importing the file, because that's really important if we are going to solve any question further, right? So yeah, if you face any difficulties, let me know in the chat. Puneet is done. Anyone else facing any problem in importing the data set? It's really important that we finish this step, because then if you don't have the data set in memory, then there is no way you can solve these questions. Okay. What about others? Saloni, Nitin, Nishit have replied. Sneha, Arpit, Chetan, Richa, Jatin, did you guys load this data set? Okay, I think I have 5 responses. I'll just move on. Okay, so the first question is, I think if you have had a look at the assignment, then the assignment is pretty simple. And the way you have to do it is that you have to write your SQL query in between these two lines, right? So if I talk about the first question, how many customers are male and how many are female? Let's try to do this in Excel first. So in Excel, if you want to have some kind of summarization, you can simply create a pivot table. So we have a customer dimension table, right? And what we do is what are we trying to find? We are trying to find how many are male and how many are female. Okay, we'll go here. Yeah, we'll go here, we'll click on pivot table, we'll click OK, and then we'll just drag gender here, and we'll drag customer ID here. And instead of summing up the customer ID, we'll just do a count of customer ID. Okay, so there are 4 females and there are 10 males. Okay, now if we have to do it via SQL, what we have to do is we have to write our code something like this: select, and then from, and then group by, right? I missed where condition. So whenever you're writing any SQL code, always make sure you write these things first, right? Now, first thing you should write is what are the tables that you're considering. So obviously we are taking customer dimension table here, right? And let's give a name also. So customer dimension as C. The next thing you should write is if there are any condition on the data, right? Are there any conditions on the data? There are no conditions. We are just simply counting. We are not saying that I want males and females who are above 18 or who have an account on Gmail or whatnot, right? We don't have any conditions, so we can remove this. Now, what you have to do is you have to finish this particular select statement. So in select statement, what we are doing is we are trying to get how many are males and how many are females. So we'll take c dot gender, right? And on this particular column, we'll simply do a count of customer ID. And again, you write c dot customer ID so that we know this customer ID is coming from table C, which is customer dimension, and then give some kind of name to it as let's say C and T customer, right? And then obviously, since we are doing a kind of group by, we have to take everything which is not aggregated. So these are all aggregate columns and we are aggregating this on this particular column, right? So we'll take this, Control C there and just put it here, right? Let's run this. Right, so we got the same answer. We have 4 females and we have 10 males, right? So again, so what you have to do is the skeleton should always start like this. You have a select statement, you have a from statement, you have a where statement, and you have a group by, right? Within from, you write what tables you are joining. So right now we are not joining any table, so it's just customer dimension as C, and then there is no where condition, so we'll remove this, right? And then we write the select statement. Select statement we have to take a count of count by gender. So we'll write c dot gender and we'll just count customer ID, right? C dot customer ID, and then you just give it a name, right? And then again, for every column on which you are aggregating, you just copy it and paste in the group by statement. Cool. I hope this is clear. Guys, let me know if this is not clear. Oh, not this one. Let me know in chat if this is not clear. I think I can check it on my phone. So this is really important, guys. This is how every SQL query that you will write in your career, this is how personally I structure it. You might find some better kind of way in which helps in breaking down the query, but this is personally my way and you can utilize it. Okay, so that was just a sample question that I had written. Let's try to solve some actual questions. Okay, so next up we have to find how many customers do not have a DOB information available. Let's try to do that in SQL first, right? So what we have to do is we have to count of customer ID and we want this DOB, right? This DOB should not be available, right? So that means DOB should be null. So we have put it in a filter, and here what we'll do is we'll select multiple items and we'll take only DOB which is blank. So there are 2 customers for which DOB is not available, right? Now let's try to do this in SQL. Again, the same thing. We have select statement, we have for, from, we have where, and then we have group by, right? So what do we have to do? We have to get the data from customer table, customer dim as C. Is there a condition? Yes, there is a condition, and the condition is c dot dob is null. So remember I told you about null and is not null. So when you actually have a value, you can simply say DOB equals to some particular value or DOB in a list of values, right? But if you are trying to see if a particular value is missing, then you have to write is null, right? So that's what we are doing here. We are saying c.dob is null. Okay. Then do we have to group by on any column? Is the question asking that at a particular level I want this information? No, right? It simply wants what is the count of customers. So I'll just do count c dot customer ID, and we'll say as CNT CUSD, right? And since there is no column on which we are aggregating, we can remove this group by statement. We don't have to write that. Now let's see, right? So it has given us 2. If I go to this customer data set also, there are 2 spaces wherein the customer does not have a date of birth available, right? Clear? Let me know in chat that like let's say second part is clear. I did this using case when way. I think that is also fine as long as you are getting the same answer. Puneet, Sumit is asking if I don't write group by, then only mail count was coming. Yes, because it just takes first row and counts on that particular row. So yeah, don't do that. I always write group by statement whenever you are trying to aggregate certain information. Saloni said no. I'm not sure what the question was on which you have said no. Can you write the question? Okay, clear. Okay, Saloni, let me know if there is anything on which you want me to explain again. But yeah, let's try to do the next one. And let's remove this answer. So what we have to do is how many customers are there in each pin code and gender combination. Let's try to do this with Excel first. So for each gender and pin code combination, right? So what we'll do is we'll remove this first. We'll select everything. Select all, and then we'll remove this. And again, the question is asking the count of customers. So we'll keep the count of customers in this value column, value box. What we want is we want gender, right? We'll put gender in rows, and we also want pin code, right? So we'll take pin code here, right? So now we know. So there are 4 females, and each of them are in different pin codes. There are 10 males, 3 of which are there in Delhi, 4 and 2 of them are in Chennai, if I'm not wrong, or is this Kolkata? I'm not sure what it is. 4 lakh. One is Maharashtra, Mumbai. Oh yeah, I should have known that. Yeah, and then you have some 2 customers who are there in this particular pin code, which if I'm not wrong should be Kolkata, right? Yeah, that's what my guess was. Okay, yeah. So now we have a count on gender and the pin code. Now let's try to do that in SQL. And again, we'll write the skeleton like this. We'll have select statement, we'll have from, we'll have where condition, and we'll have group by. Again, we'll start with customer dimension as C. We'll say, okay, we'll write the where condition first. So is there any filter that we are applying? No, right? We're just taking everything. For every pin code, for every gender combination, I just want the count of customers, right? So there is no where condition. We can remove this. And then we'll try to fill the select statement. So in select statement, we want count at pin code and gender level, right? So we'll say c dot pin code, comma c dot gender, and then again the same thing, count of, let's just copy it from here, right? And then finally the group by statement. Now within the group by statement, it's pretty simple. Whatever columns you are kind of doing the aggregation, you just copy them, Control C here and put it here, right? And let's just run it. Okay, this is not pin code, this is primary pin code if I'm not wrong, right? So we have the same values again. So we have for every pin code, for every gender, we have the count of customers. Is this clear? Awesome. Okay, so the next one, can you try to attempt yourself? If you have don't see the answer, try to do it on your own. Again, start with a select statement. Start with creating this skeleton. Select, have from, have a where, have a group by. And yeah, let me show you this thing in Excel first, and then you guys can attempt it on your own. So what we want is we want product name and MRP for products which have more than 50,000 MRP. So this particular pivot, we have to change the data source and we have to go to product dimension and take this particular data set. Right now it is connected to product table. What we want is product name and MRP for those products for which MRP is more than 50,000. So we want product name, we want product MRP. Let's put it in values. I guess we can put in a values because there is one-to-one mapping. And we want a filter saying the MRP should be more than 50,000, right? So we'll choose this and this, right? So this should be the answer. So can you guys attempt it on your own once? I have written a skeleton here already. You just have to fill it up. And let me know when you guys are done. So once I have 3 dones, I can write my own query then. So Puneet is done. I'm not sure Sumit wrote done for this question or something else. So yeah, Saloni, Nishit, Sneha, Richa, Adiraj, Neil, please let me know when you guys are done. Sorry, those are the names which I can see, so I'm taking those names. Okay, I guess a lot of you are done. So I'll just, for other people, I'll just write it quickly. So we have again the same thing. Instead of customer, we'll take the data from product dimension, right? Product dimension is correct, right? As P. And there is a condition which says P.MRP should be greater than or equals to, or I think it's just greater than equal 50,000. And yeah, what do we want? We want P dot product name, we want P dot MRP, and is there a group by? We are not aggregating anything, right? We are not saying do a count, do a sum, or do anything, any kind of aggregation, right? So we can remove this group by. Let's run this and we have the answer, right? Okay, let's try to do the next one. Next one says how many delivery personnel are there in each pin code? That should be a simple one. So what we have to do is we have to first change the data source. We have to do that from here. You just select everything. Right now what we want is for every pin code, so pin code goes in the rows, we want how many delivery person are there. Should be pretty simple. So instead of sum, we'll do a count, right? So I think if I sort this, sort by largest to smallest. So yeah, so Mumbai has the highest, which is 4, and then in Kolkata we have 2 people, and then in remaining metros we just have 1 delivery person each, right? Again, it should be pretty simple. Can you guys attempt it and let me know once you're done? Again, the same thing, select from where, and then finally group by. So we'll give it 1 minute. Once it turns 6:45, then we'll move on to the next one. And I think we should be able to solve this entire thing in probably 7:15, 7:30 types. And I think these are the most basic questions. There will be very few people who will ask something like this. Like I generally ask these kind of questions initially, so that the viewees, they are a bit comfortable. Like I don't want the first question to be really tough and it just kind of demotivates the person at the start. So I generally ask very simple question at the start, and I think a lot of people do that. It's kind of a good thing to do because we don't want to lose out on good candidates just because they started with a bad question, right? So it kind of messes up the confidence. So a lot of people do ask very simple questions, but most of your interview will be decided on questions which will be as tough as the last 5 questions which I have in this particular assignment. And remember, these any question that you are seeing here are the questions which will get asked in the interview. So if you cover all of the questions which I'm listing here, you should be good to go on most of the SQL interviews that I have personally been to. Okay, I think a lot of you are done. That's good. Guys, please keep writing in the chat so that I know a lot of people are done. Otherwise, I'll have to spend more time on a particular question, right? Okay, so again, the same thing. What we want to do is we want from delivery person dim. Let me just copy it. I don't remember the exact name. Right, we'll take this, or you know what, I can just Control Z and show you the answer. So what we have done is we have taken the data from this table, we are writing d dot pin code, and we are kind of counting the delivery person IDs, right? And then in the end we are just grouping by pin code. If I run this, Control Enter, you will see that for Mumbai we have 4 people, for Kolkata we have 2, and the remaining have 1 delivery person each. Okay, let's do the next one. For each pin code, print the count of orders, total amount paid, average amount paid, maximum amount paid, minimum amount paid for the transaction which are paid by cash, and take by order types only. Okay, that's a lot of information in just one single line, and this is how you should handle it, right? So first thing is, again, you start with the from statement. So where is this data going to come from? It's going to come from orders, right? So we'll go to analyze, we'll change the data source, and we'll take the order table here. Right, we have taken the order table. What do we want next? We want for each pin code. So do we have a pin code column here? Yes, we do. We put it here. Then we want count of orders, total amount paid, average amount paid. Okay, before we do all of that, we should put the condition, the where conditions, the filters, right? So there are 2 filters that I see. The transaction should be paid by cash. Okay, let's see which column has that information. So if I go to order dimension, we have this payment type column which has the information of what kind of means was used to pay for that transaction, right? So we can put a filter, transaction payment type should be cash, right? So if I go here, I'm gonna put payment type should be cash. Then the question is saying that take only by order types, right? So we'll take order type which is by, right? And then we can do all other things. So we'll do count of order, sum of total amount paid. Let's do count of order first. We'll make it count. Then amount paid is what we want. We want total amount paid. We want, if I'm not, average amount paid. So we'll right click here. We'll go to summarize values by average. We want minimum and maximum amount paid also. So again, the same column we'll put here, right? So we'll make this minimum. We'll make this maximum, right? Is there anything else which is remaining? We have covered everything, right? So this is the answer. So what we did was we first selected the data source, then we selected the filters, and then we are writing on what column we are trying to aggregate the data, and then we are writing the aggregations. Again, the same thing. Okay, so can you guys attempt this quickly and then we can move on to the next one. We'll wait for 2 minutes for this. We'll wait for 6:50 for this. And please let me know in chat once you're done. It's really helpful for me to move on. Right, so I'm gonna remove this, and again the same skeleton. You start with the from, go to where, and then to group by. Sneha, Saloni, Richa, Sumit, Neil. Let me know once you guys are done. Others, are you done? Sneha, Richa, I think Nishit is done now. Neil, Puneet is done. Okay, awesome. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Let me just show you the answer here and kind of. Is this back on? Hello. Ba, 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 ba. Awesome. So I think the culprit is the fact that I did not boot my laptop today before I started the session. And I generally boot my laptop only when I'm doing these sessions. Otherwise it's like for continuous 1 week my laptop is always running 24/7 and like literally running. I'm not even making it sleep or anything. So yeah, I think it's been running since a long time, and that could be the reason why it is lagging so much. Awesome. We are at the same level we were before the shit happened. Can one of you tell me at what point you guys lost me and I was continuing to talk to myself? Did I finish this thing in Excel? This question number 6 in Excel. Did I finish that before it got lost? Question 5 we were done. Yeah. Post that question 6 I started, right? Did I finish question 6? Question 6. Okay. So let me just start with question 6. I think that's what I'll do. So in question 6 we had, for each delivery person ID, print the count of orders, total amount paid, and the conditions were product ID should be within these two, total unit should be greater than 8, and we wanted to sort the output and we want to take only buy orders, right? So that's what I have done here. We have taken only buy orders. Total number of units should be greater than 8, which is what I have done. And then product ID should be 50 or 48. Is it 48 or 49? Yeah. So either 50 or 48. So that's what I have taken here. And then for every pin code, I have the count of order ID and the count of and sum of total amount paid. So this is the answer that we were looking for. Can you guys solve it on your own? And this time I'm gonna open this in my tab so that I know, right? Okay, I don't have to open this. I can access the chat here. Okay, yeah. So can you guys solve the question number 6 on your own? Same thing again, kind of. Right, select from where, group by. Just be careful this time around, you have to write an order by statement also. An order by statement is pretty simple. It's similar to group by. You just write on what column you are trying to sort, and then you write the order in which you want to sort. So if it is descending, you write DESC. If it is ascending, you write ASC. So can you do this? Some of you have said no, nope. I'm not sure for what it is. But yeah, guys, solve question number 6. And please keep writing something in chat so that I know I'm not talking to myself like a retard. Cool, Sumit. That's great. You are the Hermione of the class. Any Harry Potter fans here? Okay, we'll wait for one more done and then we'll look at the answer. So can one more person write that they are done so that we can move on? I did, but not getting the right answer. Can you write the query in the chat? We can have a look. Are you missing any of the filters? Are you missing sorting? Are you missing? I think that those are the 2 things that you should not miss. That's it. Others, are you guys done? Neil is done. Richa, Shalini, Nishit, Puneet, Saloni is I think done. Yeah, so Saloni is done. Could you please take a session on window functions? Yeah, it will be there, Aditya. It will be there. So this is basically basic SQL. In advanced SQL, which we'll do next week, that will cover everything, like going from window functions to union and all kind of weird things. We can't write like this. Of course you can't. Of course you can. What you have to do is, I think, I would say avoid writing or, but yeah, it should work. All you have to do is just enclose this particular thing within bracket so that other and statement are not messing with this. But yeah, if you have multiple conditions, prefer using in rather than using or statement. Okay, but otherwise your answer is correct. Can you write the full query so that we can see what is wrong there? But for other people who have done this, again, we'll starting with the same from statement. We'll write from order dim as O, and then we'll put all 3 conditions. We'll say product ID in 50 or 48. We'll say total units greater than 8. We'll say order type equals to by, right? And then we want for each delivery person ID. So we'll write here delivery person ID. And then we're counting the number of orders and we're summing up the total amount which is paid, right? Finally, the question also asks to sort the output by total amount paid. So we're just writing order by statement additionally. And we're saying sum of total amount paid should be sorted in descending order. So that is it. I think the next 3 you guys can solve on your own, right? Let's solve the next, the seventh one. I'm not gonna do this in Excel. Can you solve it on your own and let me know once you're done? Yashika, all you have to do is just pip install Panda SQL and just control enter. It should work. Okay, so here's the difference between total amount and the sum. Total amount is the column name, and what the question is asking is actually what is the, I should have written actually sum of total amount. That would be the right phrase. But yeah, intent was you write that what is the total amount which is paid, right? So yeah, I think there is some kind of confusion in this naming convention, which I'll remove from the next time. But this time around, I was asking for sum of total amount paid, not total amount paid. So my intent was total, the total of total amount paid. That was the intent, Puneet. I'm sorry for the wrong naming convention. Okay, can you guys solve the next question? Take 1 minute on that and then we'll move on to the next one. I will do that, Saloni. Okay, let me do this. So here we are saying print full name plus first name plus last name for customers that have email on gmail.com. Okay, so again, we'll start with this. We'll say from customer dim as C. And there is a condition saying that the email should be gmail.com. So how do we do that? If you remember, I talked about a like statement in the original assignment, right? Original module, that this like statement can be used to search for a particular string in any string column, right? So we have a string column here in customer dimension table, which is this one, this email column. All we have to do is we have to search for this Gmail string. It actually should be gmail.com, just to be sure, right? So what we are doing here is we are just saying that in email column, try to find any string which begins with anything, doesn't matter what it begins from, and then there is gmail.com in between and it ends with anything. I don't think it has to end with anything, it has to end with gmail.com only. So we'll just write this. So yeah, it begins with anything. There could be anything in the start, but the string should end with gmail.com, right? And finally, in the select statement, what we want is we want the full names. So full name would be first name plus the last name. So we have the plus name, and then if you remember, we concatenate in SQL using the double pipe. So we write the double pipe here. This pipe statement is the one below backspace. So you push shift and the button below backspace. Let me see if I can show you online what I'm meaning, because not a lot of people know what pipe thing is this. Where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah. So this is the particular button, this backslash thing. Just before that, just above that, there is a pipe. So what you have to do is you have to press shift and this press this button. That will give you pipe. Okay. So we are taking first name, concatenating it with space, and then concatenating it with C dot last name. And that's how we'll get the full name. Right? So we'll get Rahul space Gupta, Abhinav space Sharma, and so on and so forth. Hope that makes things clear, guys. Let me know in the chat if this is clear. Okay. Okay, tell me one more thing, guys. How do you want to do this? So we have been able to solve 7 questions in around 1 hour. Obviously, I do not want to keep you for 2 hours. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go back and solve these questions on your own, and then we have a session next week, or do you want to ask me specific questions? Like, how do you want to do this? Don't say simply don't simply say yes, because I'm not sure how many questions I ask and which question you're replying yes to. So should we solve all questions? Right? Yes or no there. Should we solve all questions? Neil is saying we should have one more session. Yes, Shalini, I would have gone that with that particular option, and that's the reason I gave you guys the assignment beforehand, so that you can solve and ask me specific questions, but not everyone did it. Okay, let me solve 2 or 3 questions from join section, and then we can move on. And for the remaining questions here, let me just quickly walk you through, right? Next question asks you how many orders had units between 1, 3, 4, 6 and 7 plus. So here we have been given buckets, and how do you create buckets in SQL? If you remember from the first session, it is case when statement, right? Okay, take only by order types, that's again a condition. So we'll start with again the from condition, from order dim as O, and then we'll put the condition order type equals to by, and then we'll go to the select statement. In select statement we have to write a case when statement. So case when total units is less than 3, less than or equals to 3, we'll write 1 to 3. When it is less than or equals to 6, then we'll write 4 to 6. Now here the case when statements get evaluated in this order. So anything which is not less than 3 or not less than or equals to 3 has to be greater than or equals to 4, right? That's why you don't have to write specifically here that the value should be greater than or equals to 4 and it should be less than or equals to 6, right? I hope this is clear. So essentially you just have to write only one condition. You first evaluate this condition, which is the number of units should be less than 3, less than or equals to 3, then this value. If it is less than or equals to 6, then this value. If not, then it is 3, 7 plus, right? This is the new column which will get created, and on this particular column we are just writing count of order ID, right? And then again the same thing. So if except for this aggregation that we are doing, put everything, so everything being this particular thing, in the group by statement, right? So 1 to 3 there are 314 orders, 4 to 6 there are 314 orders again, 7 plus there are 372 orders. Okay, clear? Just let me know if this is not clear. Okay, I'll just move on. Let me know in chat a particular question number which is not clear to you. I'll repeat that. In question number 9, which pin code has average amount paid more than 150,000? Take only by order types. So we'll again do the same thing. We'll have from statement. We'll write where order type equals to by, and then we'll do O dot delivery pin code. On that we are taking average of total amount paid, right? And then finally again the same group by thing we are doing. Now there is one more condition here which says average amount paid more than 150,000. Now it does look like some kind of filter which is being put, right? Now if you remember, I told you there are two kind of filters you do on in a SQL query. So one being where. So where will filter directly from the data. So once you are getting the data, it will not allow specific rows to come in. Now once you have that data, if you want to put further conditions, like once you have done some kind of aggregation, then you want to put some condition on that aggregation, then you have to use having statement. So if you notice here, the condition is being put on average amount paid, not the total amount paid. If the condition had been on total amount paid, then we will write this in the where statement. We'll say total amount paid should be greater than or equals to 150,000. But since the condition is on average amount paid, you'll first calculate average amount paid, right? Once you have calculated average amount paid, you'll use the having statement and say having average of total amount paid greater than or equals to 150,000, right? So this is where it is important for you to understand whether you have to use where or you have to use having. you will use where if the condition is being put on the data itself, data which you are trying to pull. But if the condition is being put on the aggregated information that you're getting in SQL query, then you have to use having. And in this case, since the option was to say average amount paid more than 150,000 and there is no average amount paid column in the data. So first you'll calculate average amount paid from the SQL query, and then you'll say having total amount, having the average of total amount being 150,000, right? Let me know in the chat if this question is not clear. Saloni is asking having can be used only after group by for further filtration. That is right. The order of statement is like this: you write where, then you write group by, then you write having, and that is always the order, right? And there is no having without group by. So only when you are aggregating some information, that's when you have to use group by, and that's when you have to use having. If you're not aggregating any information, having cannot be used, right? Because having only filters from the aggregated data. So if there is no aggregated data, which means group by will be missing, and in that case, having cannot be used, right? Hope this is clear. Let me know in the chat if this is not clear. Moving to the 10th question, it asks us to get order date, order day, and month and the year, right? So if I go to order dimension table, we'll notice that this is the order date column, right? And I told you that all the dates are in text format, not in date format. So in text format, you cannot use month function directly. So if this particular value had been in date format, then you could have used a month function to get the month, year function to get the year, a day function to get the day. But since it is not like it is actually a string, what you have to do is you have to take out first two letter and call it the day. You have to take out this fourth and fifth letter and call it the month, and last four letters and then call it the year, right? And how do we take out certain letters? We use substring. So this str function, and other things remain same. You just write for from order dim as O, order type equals to by. It is not a condition, so you can skip this also. I just wrote it. And then you have to put substring. So substring order date, we starting from position 1 and taking 2 digits, right? So we'll start from first position. First position is this, and then we're taking two particular what do you call characters, right? So we'll get 0 1 here, right? Substring may sorry, the second thing is we want the month. So month starts at position 4, and again we'll take two letters. So we start at position 4, which is this after the dash, and then we'll take 2 letters from there, 0 and 1. And then obviously order year would be you start at position 7 and take 4 letters, right? And in this way you will have 3 separate columns which will split order date into day, month and the year. Clear? Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. If you have any questions, please let me know. Now this is a tricky one, and quite often this gets asked. So what you have to do is you have to get how many total orders were there in each month, right? Since we don't have a month column, we have to get month in this way only, which we did in question 10. And how many of them were returned. And then we have to add a column for return rate 2, and the return rates formula is also given. So return rate would be total buy orders, and you divide by total, you take the numerator as total return orders, right? Again the same thing, we'll write from order, and there is no condition here. We are taking both buy and return orders, right? And what we have to do is we have to group by on month. So for every month we have to get total orders, total return orders, right? I think total orders should be total buy orders. I should make that change. I'll make that change later. Now the thing is, it is asking you, it is not asking you to group by month and order type. If the question was to group by on month and order type, it would have written for each month and order type, get me the total number of orders. But that's not the question. It says for each month. give me total orders and the total return order, right? So there is a difference here. Let me kind of show you here what kind of difference I'm talking about. So we go here, right? We take all values here, we take all values here, and we take all values here, right? And let me tell you what I'm talking about. So there is no month column. Okay, what do I do now? Let's do one thing. Assume this is the month column for now. Just assume that this is the month column, right? Now the question, if the question had been that on month and order type, give me the count of orders, right? Then this would have been the right answer. That for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and buy, there are 182 rows. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 return, there are 11 rows. But this is not the question. The question is that I want for every month, right? I want something like this. I want how many buy orders were there and how many return orders were there. Let's remove this grand total because I don't want that, right? This is the format I want, that there should be two separate columns for buy and return. And the way you create a separate column would be a case when statement, if you remember earlier, right? Now thing is, that is what we will do. So we'll say case when order type equals to buy, then write 1, otherwise 0 and end, right? And then we'll sum up this column. Now what's happening here is this case when statement will create one more column, right? Once that column is created, which will have a values 1 or 0 depending on whether the order type was buy or return. Once that is done, we're just simply summing up, and let me show you how it will look like in the data, right? So what's happening here is we are creating first case one. So let's write it C1. So this is if this order type equals to buy, then write 1, otherwise write 0, right? So you have 0 and 1. If I choose 0, you'll get return here. If I choose 1, you'll get buy there, right? So this is the C1. Now the next thing is for C2, which is return orders. So for return order, I just have to change this condition and say if B2 equals to return, then 1, otherwise 0, and it will just be the mirror opposite of the second statement. Now what's going to happen is this is a new column which has been created, and we'll just sum up this to get the total number of orders for every month. So we'll have month column which will come from this, right? And at that month column, we'll just sum up these two columns, right? That's what is happening here. So we are creating one column inside here, and then we are just summing up that column. And the condition of creating that column is the order type should be buy, then we'll create one column, and when the order type is equals to return, then we'll create one column, right? And then return rate is simply total return orders. So we'll just copy paste this entire thing, right? We'll copy paste it here. And then in the denominator, we want total buy orders. So we'll just copy paste the total buy orders here. Once I run this, it'll give me this thing. So for order month equals to 1 January, we had total 119 buy orders, right? So there'll be 119 1 values here, right? So that's what has been summed up. And then total return orders was 3. Now I know it's a bit complicated. So let me know if this is not making sense. Counting distinct order IDs will also give total buy orders, right? Yes, that's right, it will. But how will you get the return orders then? For return orders, you do have to write that case one statement. So to keep things simple, I wrote case one statement for both of them. Puneet is asking in question number 11, do you mean total order by sum of total order? Question 11. Yeah, I want sum of total return orders divided by total buy orders. Yeah, this is the exact reason why I asked you guys to kind of tell me if there are any uh, errors in terms of phrasing or grammatical or syntax errors. But I think that's fine. I think you do miss out on certain things, right? Let me know if what I discussed about question 11 did not make sense. Can't we write a subquery? Saloni, we haven't covered subquery right now. That's why I have not written it. But if you can think of a way you can write a subquery, I think that's fine too. But the idea here is to let everyone know about this kind of syntax, because it is really popular. And personally, whenever I have asked people to do something like this, most of them have failed. Like even the best candidates, I have seen them struggling with this kind of. But I'm not gonna ask such a simple question. I asked a slightly different question and difficult one. But yeah, uh, people do not think of this uh, kind of query whenever it is posed to them. So yeah, I just wanted you to introduce to this thing. Need to go through this question again, little complicated. So Sumit, okay, I'll just go through it again. So what you have is you have this data available with you. What you have to do is you have to just create two more columns which will tell you whether it's a buy order or it's a return order. Then C1 may you are putting a condition that if B2 is buy, which is this particular column, right? This particular column, if this is buy, then put 1, otherwise put 0. In C2 you are putting if column B is return, then put 1, otherwise put 0. Now once these two columns are created, you have a month column also which will come from here, right? So for every month, when you sum up this, right, so you'll be summing up the buy orders, because return orders are all 0. So in the sum, the return order will not be counted, only the buy orders will be counted. When you sum up the column C2, in that case no buy orders will be counted, because all buy orders have a value 0 here, and only the return orders will be counted, right? And that's how you'll be able to sum up the buy orders and the return orders at the month level. Is it making sense? Need 10-15 question. Have doubt which query approach to choose for optimization. What do you mean by optimization? I think Puneet, let's learn the language first and optimize later. That would be better. Guys, we have already crossed our usual limit of 1.5 hours. Would you want to continue for half an hour more? How many of you do not want to continue for half an hour more? Let me know in chat. Okay, so everyone wants to kind of continue. Now for that, I would want yes, continue or not continue. Please let me know. So even if let's say one person is not willing to continue, we should just stop here and have another session. If all of you are willing to continue, then we should continue. शर्माओ मत, बता दो यार. ठीक है. Cool. If anyone does not want me to continue, please let me know. I'll take just half an hour more and try to finish the remaining questions. So we are done with question number 11. Now the next ones are on SQL joins. Now here you have to do some additional steps. Let me start with the first question. Okay. So again, the skeleton will be the same. Select from where group by, right? In the from statement, if you have multiple tables, you might be using left join or inner join, depending on what kind of data you want, right? I'm just gonna quickly check if someone said don't continue. Okay. So again, the same thing you have to do. You have to write select from, and then within from you just have one more separate kind of what is it called? It's a branch. where you have to write left join or inner join, and there will be multiple branches also. So if you have multiple 3-4 tables which you are joining, then you'll have 3 or 4 left or inner joins depending on what kind of join you want. Then again the same thing, where condition, and then you put group by. Now let's try to do this question. How many units have been sold by each brand? Also get total units returned for each brand. What was the answer here? Okay, cool. Okay. The same thing. Let's start with the from statement. How many units have been sold by each brand, right? So we are focusing on brand, right? So brand will come from product dim as P, right? And then we want units. So units are present in the order table. And how does order table join with product table? You go to schema and see there. So order table joins with product table on these 2 columns, basically one column, which is product ID, right? And it has the same name in both the tables. Now I'll go here. I'll say left join. Now thing is, you have to think whether you have to do a inner join or you have to do a left join. Why do you think I'm doing a left join here and not inner join? Although both of them will give the same answer, because the same product which is available here is also available here, right? So why do you think I'm doing a left join? Can one of you be a smart ass and tell me the answer? I hope the question is clear. So I'm doing a left join, not an inner join. What is the reason for that? Intuitively, why it makes more sense to do a left join than inner join? Think about it. It's not a hard question, I would say. Puneet, you're being Captain Obvious now. Obviously, we'll get the values from left table too. The question is why we do left join. Why are we doing a left join and not an inner join? Other people, do you want to take a shot? Sneha, Neil, Puneet, Richa. Puneet has already taken a shot. Nishit. Okay, let me answer in that case. Now think of, let's say if I talk about Flipkart, right? We have millions and millions of products, right? Not all of those products will be sold. So although in this particular database, we have same products which are here, same 6 products, and all those 6 products are present in the order dimension table also. But in a real world scenario, if I want, tell me how for every product how many units have been sold. So there will be certain products for which the units, there won't be any units which will be sold, right? So if there are no units sold for any product, in that case there will not be any data which will come from order dimension. And if I do an inner join, right, it will show me only those rows for which it will show me those products for which some units have been sold, right? So we don't want that. We want all the products, and even if there is 0 units sold, it should show that, right? And that is the exact reason I'm doing a left join. So I'm gonna take everything which is present in left, the first table A, and I'll try to take as much information from second table which is available, right? So if in order dimension table there are certain products which are not available, for those I will still get the rows from the first table, right? That's how left join work. Left join takes all the data from the first table and only some data from the second table which is available in the second table, right? So if there are 100 products which are present in the product table, I'll take all of those 100 products, and let's say only 50 of those have been sold and have some information in order table. Only for those 50 products, I will have some information coming from here, but I will still get all the products from product table, right? I hope this is making sense and it's clear. Right? Let me know in chat if this is not clear. I'll repeat it again. So we are doing a left join. We're again joining by order dimension as O, Now we have to specify on what column are we joining. So we write on p dot product id equals to o dot product id. Now, so this is one of the reason I continuously repeat that you have to provide some kind of alias to the table names. So suppose if I had not provided this alias p here and o here, how will SQL know that this product ID is coming from O? How will they know? How will it know that product ID, which is on the left hand side, is coming from table product dim, right? But since we have provided this alias, it knows that I'm joining the p dot product ID, which is coming from the first table, with the o dot product ID, which is coming from the second table, right? So this is why it is important. And then we're gonna put some filters. We'll say how many units have been sold by each brand, and also get total units returned by each brand. So we don't have to put any filters. We can remove this, right? And then we have to do select p dot brand, right? And then we again want the same thing. How many total units have been sold and how many total units have been returned, right? So what we'll do is we'll copy the same thing, right? And there is one small change which needs to be done here. Can you tell me what? And we're just gonna copy this to brand, right? So earlier we were saying that I want to count the orders. So we are taking one order in each row, right? That's why we put one here. In this case, we don't want to count the orders. We want to sum the units, right? So what change do you think I have to do here to ensure that I'm gonna get a total number of units bought and total number of units returned? Can you think of it? There is one minor change I have to do here. Since the question asks for the number of units sold, the question asks that for every product. That is more important than the unit sold. So we have, since it is saying for every product, that means you have to take every product. Right, Saloni? Okay, coming back to the question. There is a small change which needs to be done here to make sure we are summing up the total units sold and not counting the orders, which we are doing right now. Can you think of what change we have to do? And let me show you by Excel. So earlier we were counting the orders. So counting means that you can simply write 1 in front of each row, and once you sum up the number of ones, you are actually counting the rows, because every row is one count. So 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5, 6, so on and so forth. This time around we want the total number of units. So what we have to do is we have to say if B2 equals to buy, instead of writing 1 or 0, take this column, take total units, right? So take total units only when it's a buy order, otherwise just put 0, right? And then copy paste the values below. Now let's see. So whenever there is a buy order, the number of units will be always greater than 0, right? And whenever there is a return order, this column will have a value 0 everywhere, right? Similarly, in this particular column, we'll say whenever B2 column is returned, take the number of units instead of writing 1. So whenever there is a return, right? Whenever there is a return, only then this column will be populated. If it is not a return, then this column will always have a value 0, which you can see, right? So everywhere there is a buy here and you are seeing 0 here, right? So the change we have to do here is instead of taking 1, we have to say C dot total units. Oh, sorry, O dot total units. So what will happen is whenever the order type is buy, then we'll take total units, right? Otherwise we'll take 0, and then we'll sum up that column. Let's see what comes out of this, right? So there are two brands, Dell and HP. Total buy orders have units 2701. Total return orders have unit 112. Right? Let's see if this is the same query I wrote earlier also. Right? Same thing. Is it making sense? I think some of you were able to answer this. That's nice. Awesome. So yeah, that's about that. Question number 13, how many distinct customers and delivery boy are there in each state? So right away, we know that we have to join customer table and the delivery table. And how do we have to join that? Let's quickly see. So customer is this, delivery is this. How are these connected? So customer is connected with pin code and pin code is connected with delivery. So we have to join this table with this table and then this table with this table. Let's do that. Right? Again, the same thing. You start with the from statement. You say pin. Okay. Now what should be the base table? So what we're doing is we're asking how many customers and delivery boys are there in each state, right? So whichever table has state, that becomes our base table, and all other information will be either inner joined or left joined with that, right? So we'll first take pin code dim, which has state as the base table. Then we'll do two left join. The first left join will be on the order table, and the second left join will be, first left join will be on the customer table. And how will be the left join look like? Customer dim as the p dot pin code, pin dot pin code equals to c dot primary pin code. So primary pin code is the column name of pin code in customer dimension table. Then we'll join delivery person dimension table also, and this will be joined on pin dot pin code equals to d dot pin code, right? And again, the logic for doing a left join is the same. So suppose there are any states. So let's say there are people in Goa who are not a customer of this particular company, right? Even there we want 0 instead of that row not being there, right? So having a left join will ensure that. And again, we'll do the same thing. We'll write the select statement. We'll say pin dot state count distinct of customer ID, count distinct of delivery person ID, right? Because the question asks for distinct count of customers and delivery boys. So once this is done, you run this, and for every state, you will get how many customers are there and how many delivery boys are there. Is it making sense? Cool. Okay. Moving on. In question 14, a bit longer, for every customer. So this is how we know that customer is the base table here. Print how many total IDs, total units for order, how many units for order from their primary pin code, how many were ordered not from their primary pin code. Also calculate the percent of total units that are ordered from the primary pin code. Okay, cool. So again, the same thing. We have to write from customer dim as the base table, and we have to join with the order dim table. How do we join that? So customer is connected to order dim by customer ID column, right? So we'll write that left join order dim c dot customer ID equals to o dot customer ID, right? Now for every customer it says, so we have to write customer ID here, and they want how many total units for order. So sum of total units. Then they want how many units were ordered from the primary pin code. So if you notice in the data for customer, we have a primary pin code column, right? So this tells you that this is the primary address of the customer. And in the order dim also there is a delivery pin code, right? So let's say if you are a customer, you might have a home in Bangalore, right? Let's assume that you have a home in Bangalore, right? That is your work address. And let's say you want to send a gift to your, let's say a friend or someone in your family, right? Or a teacher if you are really like that. So yeah, so you can send a delivery anywhere in India, right? So the delivery pin code might not be same as primary pin code, and that is what the question is asking. that whenever delivery pin code is same as primary pin code, give me the sum of units. Whenever primary pin code is not same as delivery pin code, then give me the units, right? So again, the same thing we have to do. We have to create one more column which will tell whether primary pin code is same as delivery pin code or not, right? So we'll follow the same thing which we did earlier. Case when primary pin code equals to delivery pin code, right? Then take total number of units, otherwise put 0. And this becomes units which are ordered in the same city. And in the next statement, we say case when primary pin code is not equals to. So not equals to is done using exclamation mark and equals to. So primary pin code not equals to delivery pin code, then take total number of units and call this units from a different city. And we just have to take a division of this. So we have to take this particular column and divide it by this particular column. That becomes your percentage same city. Oh, sorry. Percentage same city is this particular column divided by total number of units. So that's what I have done here, right? And then you simply group by the customer ID column. And it also asked for sort by percentage column in descending order. So we are just sorting order by percentage same city, which is what we have named this here, and in descending order. Once we run this, we'll have that information. So for every customer, we have total number of units. We have units about the same city and unit in a different city. So when you sum up these two values, you will get this particular column, total number of units, because each unit can either be ordered from the same city or from a different city. There is no other way, right? And then percentage same city is this particular column divided by total number of units. I hope this is making sense. Let me know in chat. Any questions? Okay. Let me know if there are any questions. I think there was some issue here also, apart from what we had here. Okay. Guys, let me know just the question number on which you are not clear. I'll repeat that. I don't want you to be in a situation that you're not following something and you're just wasting time here. Okay, so we'll do the 15th one. So 15 says, for each product name, so product name becomes your product table becomes your base table. Print the sum of total number of units, total amount paid, total displayed selling price, total MRP, and finally the net discount from selling price and the net discount from MRP, for which the formula is also given, right? So again, the same thing, you take the base table product name, right? And then you left join it with the order dimension table. And how are they joining? So product dimension is joined on product ID column, right? Product ID column is common between these two tables. So you join product dimension with ordered ID on these two columns and then go back to select statement. So select statement is saying for each product name. So product name becomes our first column. Give me total number of units. So it's summing up the units. Give me total amount of amount paid. So we are summing up total amount paid. Give me total displayed selling price. So if you notice, the selling price here is given per unit. So if I want total displayed selling price, I have to multiply this, which is total displayed selling price per unit, with the total number of units. Once you do that, you will have the displayed selling price also. Total displayed selling price, right? So we multiply these two columns, sum of displayed selling price multiplied by total number of units. And then we do sum of that column, right? So first multiply every displayed selling price per unit with the total number of units and then take a sum of that. That becomes your total displayed selling price. Then we want total MRP. So MRP is present in product table and MRP is again by per product. So if you have multiple units which you are ordering, you have to again multiply by total number of units. So I'll go to product dimension table here. This is the MRP. So MRP is always per product. So for this HP mouse, you have 1500, which is the MRP. And if someone is buying multiple units, then the total MRP becomes the number of units multiplied by MRP and the sum of that, right? So sum of MRP multiplied by total number of units and sum of that. And then simply we are just writing this particular formula. Total amount paid divided by total displayed selling price. And net discount for MRP becomes total amount paid divided by total MRP, right? This is that formula. And then finally we do a group by product name. Right? Is this clear? Let me know. And I think in the interest of time, I'll take only one question from here. So we have solved 15, right? So I'll solve 16 in total, because I said that if you solve till 16, you should be good to go in any interview. Remaining 4 questions I would want you to solve, and please let me know in the WhatsApp group if you're not able to solve it, because I do want to ensure that all 20 of these questions are perfectly solvable. So let me see which one I can pick. This is kind of easy. I'll give it to you. This is again kind of easy. I'll give it to you. This one is a bit difficult. I may take that. Okay. Okay. This one, 18th one is a bit different, but I'm not gonna take it. I think you should be able to solve this. I'll take question number 20 and I'll tell you why I'm taking this. So in all the questions above, right, you kind of had a target that these are the things you want. So if I pick any question, right, let's say if I pick this question, it was simply telling you that for every order ID, get the product name, calculate the discount percentage, and sort by highest discount and print. So kind of the instructions were kind of given to you that this is what I want. So you had an idea that this is what you have to do, right? But once you're working in real life in any analytics company, the things will not be the same, right? It won't be like your manager will say, give me the list of customers, total number of orders, this, give me this column, give me that column, right? They will just give you a problem statement. They'll just say, my sales are going down. Now you go and find out what we have to do for that, right? So in that case, you have to figure out what is the right set of data that you have to pull, what is the right set of filters that you have to put, right? It all depends on you and your common sense, right? So this question number 20 is kind of like that at a very low level, right? So what I'm trying to say is, generally the more number of units you buy, the more discount seller will be willing to give you, right? In general, that's how the trend is. So let's say if you go and buy, what is it? Let's say if you go and buy one banana, right? You will be charged some, let's say 5 rupees. But if you say that I want to buy some 50 bananas, then they will be willing to give you some more discount. So instead of 5 rupees per unit, you might end up paying 4 units per unit, right? So this was the kind of the statement, and you had to verify that whether this relationship holds true or not. So what exactly you have to do is, you have to show that when I increase the number of units in an order, whether my discount is increasing or not, right? So what I have, so this is how it is different from the other questions in which you were actually told that I want this column, this column, this column, and that column, right? Here you're not told that. You might infer from it, right? But it has not been explicitly told you that this is what I want. So you have to figure out on your own, and this is how things will be once you're working in the job also, and even in the interviews, right? Even in the interviews for at least SQL, in most cases they will tell you that this is what I want. But in very few cases, like 1 out of 20 cases, you might be asked a very vague kind of question that let's say my sales are going down. What can you do to what data will you pull to analyze that, right? In that case, you have to think on your own that what is it that you will pull, from what tables you will pull the data, and what are the different filters you will have to put, right? So this is that kind of question. So what we'll do here is, we have to get one, how many units are being bought in one particular order. So for every number of units, I want what is the total discount. So if I can show that, let's say for 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit, 5 unit, 6 unit, and let's say here I'm giving 10% discount, here I'm giving 11% discount, here I'm giving 12, here I'm giving 13, 14, 15, right? If trend is like this, then yes, we can say that the more number of units, the more discount the customer is giving you, right? If this is the trend is not like this, then obviously you'll say that there is no relation between the number of units which are being sold and the amount of discount which the seller is giving, right? So let's first join the relevant tables. So first we'll join product dimension P, and this we are joining because we want what do we want? We want this particular product. That's why that is the base table. You don't have to kind of do a left join here. We can simply do an error join. So product dimension is a table which is taken because we want this particular product. We inner join with order dimension because order dimension has all other information that we need. We want number of units which are being ordered in each order, and then the discount also, right? So we'll take product dimension as P, we'll take order dimension as O, we'll join on this particular column. We'll say order type equals to by because that is a filter that I'm asking you to put here. And also product name should be equals to del, right? Because that's the product we need. Then we'll take the order, then we'll take the units, right? So units are something like this. So here we are not summing up the units. What we are doing here is for every number of units which was ordered. So whenever people ordered 1 unit, whenever people ordered 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, so on and so forth, I'm just trying to calculate the discount, right? So this is one example wherein even if the column is a numerical column, we are not doing any aggregation on it. We're not summing it up or taking average or anything. We just want that column to be part of the group by statement, right? So we are taking O dot total number of units. Then we are saying total number of orders, and I'll tell you why this is also important. So total number of orders, we are taking count of order ID, and then we are putting a column for discount. So discount is nothing but total amount paid divided by total selling price. So selling price is total displayed selling price multiplied by total number of units, right? You can read about the formula on your own. Maybe some prima facie it doesn't make sense, but once you do the calculation, it will make sense, right? So this will give you the total discount that is being given from the selling price, right? Once I run this, I'll see that for every order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So people who are ordering 10 units, they are getting 8% discount. People who are ordering 1 unit, they are getting 6% discount. Do you see any trend here? Right? There is no trend. So first it was this, then it decreased further, like way down. Then it increased a bit, and then again decreased, and then again increased, and then again decreased, and then again increased, right? There is no one trend which you see here, right? So clearly, at least in this data, this particular statement is not true. Generally, the more number of units you are buying, there is no additional discount that is being given by the seller to you, right? And now coming to why I have taken this total orders column is like whenever you're trying to do any such sort of calculations, right? Proving that, yeah, this trend is holding or not, you have to get the total number of data points in each of the buckets on which you are making that particular statement. So suppose in these between 16, 19, 8, all of this, let's say there was just one row, right? If there is one row, you can actually ignore it. So trend will only be followed by those buckets which have enough number of data points, right? So if this bucket has 21 data points and it is 6, and let's say all these between had just one data point, so you can ignore those. And again, let's say this particular row had a list of 16 data points. So you'll say yes, for 21 data points I have 6, for 16 data points I have 8. Let's say this again you ignore because let's assume they have just one data point. So you ignore this row, and then again you see this row and say 16 orders had a discount of 10%. And let's say again these two rows had just one data point, so you can ignore them again. So you're left with only 3 buckets, one being this, next being this, and the last being this. Only these 3 buckets had enough number of data points. So only for these buckets you can decide whether the trend is being followed or not. In other buckets, even if the trend is not being followed, you can ignore it because there is just one data point. So based on just 1 or 2 data points, you cannot say a trend is not being followed. You look at the larger buckets, right? And that is the reason I was taking this total orders column. Now I know that's a lot of information to process, but I would say just go back, try to solve it on your own, and you should be able to understand it. Sumit is asking, got it. I was just thinking if we can just start the statement simply with this. Yeah, we did, right? We did start it like that. You can. It's just a mathematical statement. You can write it any way you want. So that concludes the session this time. I hope you learned a lot of things. And in the next session, we will cover the advanced SQL. We'll cover unions. Let me just do a quick preview of what I'm gonna show next time. Okay. So I think if you talk about any general interview, around 50% of the questions you can cover only from this assignment, right? Remaining 50%, which are the advanced ones, we will cover next time, which will include union, ranking, lead and lag, subqueries. Subqueries is really important, and a bit of typecasting. So this subquery and ranking are the two biggest things which get asked in the interviews. So yeah, tune in for that next weekend. If you're not subscribed, please do that. Let other people know about the channel for whom it will be beneficial, and have a great remaining of the Sunday. Neil Shah is asking, can we have more questions for practice? Neil, what you should do is you can practice on leetcode.com. It's an amazing website for practicing SQL. You can also do it on hackerrank.com. You can also do it on SQL Zoo, which is specifically for SQL, but do it in this order only. Maybe HackerRank and LeetCode you can swap. You can do either HackerRank or LeetCode, and if you have enough time at hand, then you can do both of them. SQL Zoo, do it only if like you're completely Vela and you don't have anything to do in life. Puneet is asking case study question. What do you mean by that? I think that is not a proper question, dude. Tell me what exactly are you asking? So yeah, practice on your own. That will be really helpful. If there are any questions from today's session or about interviews or about SQL in general or analytics in general, please let me know. Like the last question we discussed, Puneet, yeah, it's very subjective what kind of questions may get asked. I think just think about all the different things which are mentioned in the question, and that should give you an answer. So here I had mentioned total number of units, and I had mentioned the discount. So you have to calculate these two things, right? And those are the ones which we are calculating here also. Total orders will come from your understanding that yes, even if let's say the trend is not followed by the buckets itself might not be large enough, right? So it kind of comes with your experience that you have to get this column also. So once you have enough experience, then you will think about this column. Even if you don't think about this column, the question itself had talked about total units and discount. So even if you had pulled these first column and the third column, that would have been enough. But if you pull second column also, that is like blowing it out of the park also. What else? Anything else, guys, before I conclude the session? Sorry for keeping you here for so long. I generally prefer to have 1.5 hour session, but this kind of got dragged. All right, thank you. I'm ending this stream. I'll see you next time. You're welcome, guys. Have a good Sunday night.